Well, hello, everybody. It is so good to be back on terra firma in Canada. Been journeying around for a while, but one of my guys I talk to at least once a month, sometimes more often, just to put my finger on the pulse of what's really happening in our country. Well, he's the boss of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. His name is Franco Terrazzano, and he always says an interesting tidbit that is a reflection of the larger financial crisis in our country. And he's got a couple of new publications out here, written by Jen Hodgson of the taxpayers team. The one that really got me going is this one. Executive bonuses cost taxpayers $200 million last year. But the crazy thing is 90% of government executives got a bonus. 98%, excuse me. Like almost all of them did. You had to be an atrociously bad bottom 2% executive not to get a bonus. And the thing is, half of their performance targets were not met. It's so crazy. And I just read you the first sentence in the piece. There's a lot more sentences to come. Joining us now from Ottawa to talk about this is our friend Franco Terrazzano. Franco, bonuses are supposed to be just that, a bonus for going above and beyond, for doing something really super. In the sales world, a bonus is when you sell a huge deal, you get a recognition that you really helped the company. When 98% of executives are getting a bonus, it's just a pay raise. Like, it's not even a bonus anymore. What's your take on it?
No, that's exactly it, Ezra. Let me tell you, I might get a little spicy here today because I'm so fed up with this culture of government entitlement in Ottawa, where they think just because they're on the taxpayer payroll, they deserve to take more money from you each and every single year. And you're exactly right. Like, this isn't even a bonus anymore, right? Come on. Like, this is just a sneaky way to give these government bureaucrats more money. Right? 98% of government executives take a bonus. Like, what do those other 2% do, Ezra? Right? Because, like, think about it this way, right? Like, look, departments met just under 54% of their own performance targets, okay? So they made the tests, they wrote their tests, they barely got a D-, and instead of getting fired, they got a big fat bonus check.
That's so crazy. I want to come back to the sales analogy because most people in the real world, to get a bonus, you got it. Like, there might be a little Christmas bonus, which is more like a Christmas gift. But in the real world, to get a bonus, you have to meet a stretch goal. You have to, have a new high watermark. What you're saying, let me read that line here. Federal departments met just 54% of their performance targets. You gave them a D- or D+. You gave them a terrible mark. So they were failing. They weren't excelling. You give a bonus to the rock star on the team. I mean, I don't know if you remember that old show, Glenn Ross, when Alec Baldwin says first prize, a new Cadillac. Second prize, a set of steak knives. Third prize, you're fired. I don't know if you remember that old movie. It was a play. Glenn Ross was the name of it. That was turned into a great movie. That's how you give bonuses for amazing outcome. When 54% of people fail in the real world, they would be fired, Franco. They would be fired, not bonused.
And Ezra, 54% was their best year.
Oh my God.
Okay? So the government is handing out hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses every single year. And guess what? The government also publishes its performance targets data online for the last 5 years. Okay? 54% of their performance targets was their best year. In 2 of those 5 years, Ezra, they failed to meet half of their own targets. Okay? It's like you're a waiter. You go try to hand this guy a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. You throw it all over him, and then you expect a bonus. I mean, this is what's going on. And folks, let me just impress upon you this most important point. This is your money. The government is taking money from your pocket, and it's rewarding its own failure with the taxpayer-funded bonuses, okay? Money taken from your family, from your budget, to reward these completely incompetent government bureaucrats in Ottawa.
I'm just trying to think of the way an ordinary person could measure the success of the government. I mean, there's big picture things like what's the deficit, what's the taxes. I would call that a macro level thing. But how about just in your ordinary life? In dealing with Canada Post, that's a federal government agency, or getting a passport, or like just little things. I mean, I'm always shocked when I hear that the majority of federal public servants still work from home at least several days a week. Like that's so insane in the real world. I mean, think about public safety. Think about handling immigration, both both fake and legitimate. Just think of all the little business services government is supposed to do. Are any of them better today than they were 5 or 10 years ago? Like, so
what about the CRA, Ezra? Sorry, let me just jump in with the CRA because that's the best example.
Oh yeah,
right. The CRA can barely pick up a phone. When they do pick up the phone, they're probably giving you the wrong information.
Right.
Okay, and don't take my word for it. Look at the Auditor General report. Right, the CRA gives the correct answer to personal tax questions just 17% of the time.
Oh my God.
Ezra, it would be bad if they gave the wrong answer 17% of the time. They're only getting it right 17% of the time.
I mean, let me give you an example. Banking. Now, none of us like banks, but I think everyone would acknowledge the banking app, which wasn't really a big thing 10 years ago. It makes our lives a little easier. You could do banking on the go. You don't have to go to the branch. I mean, that's just a tiny example of how they're actually improving customer service. And I'm not in love with the banks. I'm just saying, okay, I can give the banks credit for making my life a tiny bit easier in that regard. What has the federal government done to improve services to Canadians? And don't say the ArriveCan app. That's an atrocious piece of spyware and malware. I'm just saying literally anything they touch is worse. And and I'm not even talking about just the money they blow. If they were in the private sector, they would, I'm not going to say they would all be fired, but I think most of them would. I mean, remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter? He fired 80% of the staff because he said they just weren't doing anything to improve the product, and the product got better. I hate to say it. You could probably get rid of 80% of the people working for the Canadian government, and people either wouldn't know or would say, oh, things are a little better now.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Arrive Scam. Folks, if you're having some coffee, put it down, okay? The government executives working on Arrive Scam took $340,000 in bonuses. Okay? Your money for a complete failure, a national scandal.
Yeah.
And Ezra, look, we have way too many bureaucrats. Look, the government added 100,000 bureaucrats in 10 years. The cost of the bureaucracy went up 80%. Meanwhile, half of Canadians say federal services have gotten worse since 2016, right? Not better, not the same. Half say services have gotten worse. Look, you have all these government union bosses now running around pretending they're Chicken Little, claiming the sky's going to fall if bureaucrats get fired. Wah, wah, wah. Government bureaucrats there are a lot of government bureaucrats in Ottawa that do need to get fired, right? Just to be blunt, with the deficit ballooning to $80 billion this year, like we have to shrink the bureaucracy. But can I say one thing? You know what the first thing should be on the chopping block is to go after the fat cats. End these taxpayer-funded bonuses. That should be the first thing on the chopping block. You got to go after the fat cats first.
You know what? Good point. That's a good point. I'm glad you made it. Hey, speaking of fat cats, I want to touch on one more thing. And I tell you, you guys do great work, and I'm delighted that Jen Hodgson is working for you. I know Jen. She's a very freedom-oriented writer, and I'm delighted she's on your team. And I think I did know that, but it's great to see she's involved with this. She has a story on your website called Governor General's Salary Spikes to nearly $400,000, but it's the details that are crazy. I mean, when I first saw this one, I thought that's got to be a typo. Simon, that's the name of Mary Simon, that's her last name. She's the Governor General. Sparked multiple controversies for spending millions on travel. Now, it's one thing to travel, but get this. Her extravagant trips include a $100,000 bill for in-flight catering during a week-long trip to the Middle East, and a $71,000 bill for limo services during a 4-day trip to Iceland. And I don't even know how you can do that. I mean, you could buy a restaurant for $100,000, just a week's worth of catering. What are they eating? Like caviar and champagne? I don't know how do you spend $71,000 in 4 days on cars? Again, did you buy the limo? And the thing is, Mary Simon is not royalty. She is the delegate of the king. She's his representative. She's not Her Royal Highness. She's living like she thinks she's a princess.
Look, I'm just going to start with the salary first, Ezra, and I'll get into the details. Her salary this year, $393,800. Okay, $400,000 as a taxpayer funded salary for a largely symbolic role is disgusting. Okay, and let's talk about the perks. $100,000, folks, on airplane food. It was $100,000 on airplane food.
How?
Well, Ezra, they don't have the same airplane food that you and I would have, right? A chicken wrap here, a chicken wrap there. No, they were having stuff like beef Wellington with ragu. Sounds yummy. I'm sure it was delicious. It costs a lot. Ezra, on the $71,000 on limos in Iceland during a 4-day trip, the Governor General's hotel was a 10-minute walk away from the main conference center. Okay, it would have been cheaper, less expensive for them to have bought a brand new BMW, drove it around the island for 4 days, then left the key in the car before they got back on the plane, right? Let me tell you another one, Ezra, and cut me off if I'm going too long, but this one's crazy, okay? A governor general, over their 5-year mandate, can bill you up to $130,000 for their clothes. Huh. Like their salary's $400,000. They can pay for their own clothes. And that's not even the craziest stuff.